AM 630.
It's 8:08 on WMAL, where Washington comes to talk. You're listening to Mornings on the Mall with Brian and Larry. I'm Larry O'Connor, alongside Washington Examiner's Susan Ferricchio, who is in for Brian Wilson.
Good morning,
Susan.
Good morning.
Joining us right now, Tom Davis, former Virginia congressman, a Republican. We're here to talk about the state of play in the Old Dominion. I mean, Representative Davis, now that we have had Mark Obenshade concede the race for Attorney General to Mark Herring after the recount progressed yesterday, we can now say that in Virginia we've got a Democrat as the governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and both senators. This is a state that has gone for the Democrat for president the last two cycles. Can we please stop pretending that Virginia is a swing state or a purple state? This is a blue Democrat state, is it not?
No, it's a very competitive state. Look, if the Republican Party gets their act together, I think they're going to be very, very competitive in this state. However, as you know, this is the first time since 1969 the Republicans have not held any statewide office. This is basically their own doing. I don't think it's just the changing demographics.
Okay, so Tom Davis says Republicans in Virginia need to get their act together. I know that when Tea Partiers hear that, they think one thing. What does Tom Davis think when he means get your act together?
I mean, they need to work together. You need the Tea Party. You need your more moderate business wing. They all need to be going in the same direction. It's tough even when we put our act together. But when we work together, I think we can get victories. When we're divided up or exclusionary and tell one group you're not part of the party, whichever wing that is, I think you just don't have enough people to win.
Congressman, Frank Wolf just announced his retirement. He's sort of the lone Republican here in Northern Virginia. Now, that's going to be speaking of competitive seats, that'll be a competitive seat. Can Republicans hold on to the 10th district?
I think we should. Look, first of all, it's an off-year election, which changes the turnout model. Off years generally go against the president's party. That's happened in House races in all but 3 of the last 150 years. And Republicans have a very good bench of candidates ready to go. Democrats, I think, right now, looking at John Faust, who's very able, but he represents a very small sliver of the district, some spectrum of the district. In Fairfax, it's a Loudoun-centric district. So I think Republicans have a very good chance of holding it. But once again, looking at how they nominate the candidate, who the candidate is the person emerging able to unite the party? If they do that, they should hold it. This district was, gerrymandered. It has a Republican tinge to it. Obama lost the district. Romney carried the district. Cuccinelli narrowly carried the district. So it has a Republican lean to it, but it is a swing district.
Isn't Northern Virginia, though, overall, not just the cities, but the outer exurbs, if you will, isn't part of the reason why Virginia is becoming more blue is that these sort of exurbs are becoming more Democratic, whereas in the years past they had swung Republican? Isn't that part of the issue? And I think that could affect the 10th district race, right?
Well, part of it is. Part of it is what you see in areas of greater density. They tend to vote more heavily Democratic. What's really happened, though, are in places like Arlington and Alexandria, instead of Republicans losing at 55-45 or 60-40, they're now losing at 70-30. And Democrats have a great turnout model. What Democrats do across the state are they have, just these blue swaths where they come out with gigantic margins, and Republicans are completely non-competitive. And Democrats just roll up the margins in places like Arlington and Alexandria, Petersburg, Richmond City.
Why is that happening, though? I mean, in a place like Virginia, people would expect otherwise.
Well, the people who tend to live in these areas come from outside Virginia. They're coming from all over the world, and they're settling there. They have a different worldview. They tend to be either a minority ethnic, which tend to have been voting Democratic, or they're part of what you call the creative class of people around universities and tech centers. And they have been trending Democratic. I think some of these voters are very gettable for Republicans, but you have to nominate candidates with that kind of appeal. Chris Christie, New Jersey, just up the road in a very blue state, won re-election with 60%. In Virginia, the state has voted against the sitting president for governor 9 straight times. We had in Terry McAuliffe at the start of the race. He turned into a pretty good candidate. But at the start of the race, a very target-rich candidate, probably one of the weakest in 40 years as he started the race. And Obama's numbers, the president's numbers on Election Day were lower than they were 4 years before. Given that, you have to ask, why couldn't the Republicans win? And the answer is they couldn't unite the party.
It sounds like you're saying that the Virginia Republican Party needs to nominate someone like Chris Christie.
Not necessarily Chris Christie, but someone that can unite all of the factions of the party. And right now, it's us versus them. It's Tea Party versus the establishment faction, and that doesn't work. You need everybody.
Before we go, I want to ask you about the current occupant of the State House in Richmond, Virginia Governor Robert McDonnell. You know, a year ago, or a little over a year ago, he was considered a front runner for the VP nomination with Mitt Romney, and now can you imagine where he has fallen over the last year from where we were talking a year ago? What is Governor McDonnell's future, especially considering the latest news that just hit today, which is the Justice Department agreed to delay a decision on whether they're going to bring corruption charges against him, but it looks as though the gift scandal that he's been mired in all year is going to result in charges from the Justice Department just past the holidays.
Well, look, if they don't bring charges, and, they don't bring them, we don't know what's going to, if they don't bring charges. Remember, former Governor Robb had the same issue. He appealed, and the Justice Department decided at the end of the day not to prosecute him. If they don't bring charges, I think Governor's future is good because he's had a good record with his transportation bill. He's leaving the state budget in good shapes, and he's been, I think, a very good steward of the state. If they do bring charges, then I think it obviously tarnishes his image.
Can I ask you, Congressman, about what the future looks like 2014 in the Senate? I know you're a House guy, but where you placing your bets in 2014? You think Republicans can regain the Senate?
I do. When you take a look at it, you have 7 Democrats up for re-election in the Senate. Some of them not running again, who are running in states where Obama got less than 45% of the vote. These are pretty red states. I think, like in West Virginia, South Dakota, the incumbents aren't running. Republicans pick that up. The average gain in the 6th year of a president's term for the opposition party is 6 seats. The targets are there for the Republicans. What we've seen, though, over the last few years is Republicans have been nominating dysfunctional candidates that can't win in seats they should. If they nominate the right candidates, if they can put their coalition together, I think they have a shot at, a decent shot of taking the Senate.
What about Mark Warner right here in Virginia?
Well, Mark's tough. I mean, he's the most popular politician in the state by all accounts.
But he was the 60th vote for Obamacare.
Yes, he was. He was, and if the Republicans, again, can get their act together and you get a little bit of a midterm breeze at your back, anything can happen.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Tom Davis, former Virginia congressman, Republican, thank you for your interesting and somewhat, well, in my opinion, gloomy take on where things stand in Virginia.
There's a long way to go. Thanks.
There it is. There it is. That's the Reader's Digest version. There's a long way to go.